In this module, we will identify vulnerability management system requirements, login methods, and scan timing, and review the all detections and by vulnerability views, including threat insights, exploitability metrics, and affected software. Vulnerability management helps identify and organize security risks across devices by displaying which vulnerabilities exist, how serious they are, and which assets are affected. Technicians can quickly identify which issues to prioritize and where to focus security efforts. Vulnerability management uses the modern agent and requires login with Enable Single Sign-On or Entra ID. Certain security settings can affect vulnerability management and may require exclusions. Please view the documentation for specific use cases and exclusion paths. Vulnerability scans are conducted every 6 hours based on the device's local time, at 6 a.m. and p.m., and noon and midnight. If a device is powered off during a scheduled scan, vulnerability management automatically scans the device at the next scheduled time once the device is powered on. View vulnerability data from All Detections, lists individual vulnerabilities per asset. By vulnerability, groups vulnerabilities to show how many devices are affected by each issue. The All Detections view displays affected assets, customers, sites, and products as well as several data points. Vulnerability ID correlates to the Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures Identifier, the CVE ID. Threat status shows resolved or unresolved. If an update is available, yes or no displays. Threat severity is ranked from critical to low. A risk score, based on how well-known the CVE is, the risk of it being compromised, and its life cycle. And the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, CVSS score. The By Vulnerability view lists each vulnerability in the environment by CVE and displays the number of assets at risk. It also includes the severity, risk score, CVSS, update available status, and dates the CVE was published and updated. For each vulnerability, open a side panel to view the vulnerability details. The Threat Insights section includes a written description of the CVE and the source of the data. View additional information such as Attack vector, which describes how easily the vulnerability can be exploited. Attack complexity, a measure of effort needed to bypass security features. Privileges required, which indicates the level of access needed before the vulnerability can be exploited. And user interaction, describing if another user must be involved for the vulnerability to be exploited. Refer to the documentation for detailed descriptions of each category. In the Vulnerability Details side panel, the Software tab lists software affected by the selected vulnerability, grouped by OS and application. When reviewing vulnerabilities, if applications associated with patch auto-approvals appear on the list, determine if the application is still supported by the vendor and if patch management is configured appropriately. Please note that if an application is not supported by a vendor, there will be no available patches and the vulnerability will continue to appear.